Okay, I feel like this is a question I get a lot in the DMs, and it's how do I get the confidence to share my music when it's something so personal to me, but I don't want to share my deepest and darkest feelings with the world. And to me, that was the biggest thing because I only started putting out music when I was 21, but I was writing since I was 16. So I've been writing for so long, but I never had the confidence to put out my music because I'm writing about like super depressing shit and about like breakups and just where my health is at mentally and situations that are going on. That is terrifying to share to the world, especially when you're working a 9 to 5 to finance your career and your coworkers, like you have that fear of them finding out or just people close around you finding out and they judge you. And people do judge. So this is one of those careers where like the more you're intact, you have to be in front of the light. Even this whole live streaming shit is super new to me. Like I was super unconfident with how what to talk about. But let's get into this. So for me, I feel like the biggest thing is you need a support group. Like reach out to forums. For me, I'm a super introvert. I needed my buddies around me in the studio. Even if it was only one or two, I just needed somebody around me to say, hey, it's good and give constructive criticism. I did have buddies who came to the studio and were like, you're fucking garbage. And I never invited them again because that's just not, even if you aren't the best at the craft, you need somebody to give you a little bit of confidence and saying, hey, I hear the progress. Like my buddy would always say, I hear the progress, but we can work on these parts here and there. And it's like, okay, at least like, I feel good that it's getting a little better, but now I know what to work on as well. That's step number one. Step number two, depending on the type of music you want to talk about. So I'm talking about people who are talking from deep in their heart. If you're just making like club songs or stuff like that, it's a little bit different because it's easier to be confident because in certain like for me my music I write so that people can listen to it when they're alone outside on a rainy day and they need to think, so that's where my niche is. But if you're making music for the club, like clubs have a lot of them have bad systems and you don't really hear what you're saying, so you can kind of just talk about what the fuck you want as long as you have a hard beat. um but I would share it with people that are close around you too, um, which is always good and bad because I actually shared it with my ex at the time and a few good friends of mine, and they said all my music was garbage. That was back when I was doing the self therapy project. That really hurt my confidence. I'm not gonna lie. But at the same time, if you can get through that, like people close to you, then you'll never be affected really by anyone in the comment section or anyone who's just DMing you some bullshit. Um, I noticed that my first 2 years when I was putting out music, it was just negative. All my comments on my videos were negative. Everything was negative. I did not have much positive, aside from like three people in my life who are close to me who said, yeah, keep going. And then recently now it started to blow up where people are like, oh, your music's dope, like we fuck with it, da 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 da. And it's like it's kind of the same sound that I've had before. It's just I'm so confident in the craft and advertising myself in front of people now, which comes with patience and time doing it. When you do something like when you first go to the gym for your first time, it's terrifying when there's a bunch of juice monkeys walking around. But then you go there for a few years and it's like, all right, I know like that's Jim, that's Rob, and I'm putting on weight myself. I feel confident to be in this environment. And that's what it comes to. So your support, that's why gyms are so big. Like I could never work out at home because I need that environment to see other competitors around me. And patience, having big patience in your craft. That's huge. It's a time game. When you're putting things out, like just do it. Just put it out. Even if you're not confident, put it out in SoundCloud under an alias and just message people and be like, hey, can I get your feedback? My first 2 years, that's all I did. I messaged and I got feedback. And they're like, you're offbeat here. This can be better produced. This can be better mixed. Da 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 da. And yes, it hurts at first, but then you go through it and you get some people who are like, oh, I actually like fuck with your music. I'm a big fan now. Um, that'll help with boosting the confidence. But it's just a matter of that patience and it's just a matter of sticking at it and asking people. You have to reach out. You're not going to succeed in this music game or any creative world if you're not able to reach out to people and ask for their feedback and where you can improve on. And then you're in certain rooms where you're around people. Now I love to be in uncomfortable situations. Like shit. Actually, for me, talking about confidence, like one thing I'm not very confident in is being in ciphers. I fucking hate being in ciphers and freestyling. I'm a writer. I'm very open about it. I'm a writer. I don't just freestyle. It doesn't come off the top of my head. I have to like sit, I have to be in the mood, I have to be under the select amount of substances, and then I can start writing, and that's when I can get lyrical and craft. But I'm not one of these guys who can just step in a room and start lyrical miracling my face off, right? So I'm starting to work on that kind of confidence, and that I'll work on too in the future when that shit kind of opens up. But that's my advice for anyone trying to get confident in your craft. Put it out there, put it under an alias. You don't have to have your face out there. Just put your music out there and get feedback, and that's going to be the best way. Um, I'm going to continue this on IG, YouTube, so make sure you fuck with me on my IG, your boy OB.